Get ready, it's time for Motorsports Madness, powered by the staff at Race Chaser Online. Your motorsports, your way, every day. And now, here's your host, Jacob Seelman.
Howdy, y'all. And what, 2 more hours of motorsports conversation? Is it time to do that?
We just
Something
started.
like that.
Yeah.
We did just start. This is Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu, who you'll hear about from here. Wow, that was really bad. Who you'll hear about as we go along here.
Correct.
You can tell I'm a little rusty after getting back from Daytona. Shocking.
Well, we did a show Monday night.
Yeah, well, apparently I didn't get all the kinks worked out. Jeez. But the good news about Daytona is that means from here on out there's racing pretty much every week.
Exactly.
The bad news is it left my brain a little taxed.
Well, that happens.
Good problem to have, right?
Now we're going to Atlanta.
Now we're going to Hotlanta.
Tell the people who you are, by the way.
Jacob Seelman. He's Tom Baker.
That's correct.
Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch are behind the glass. And this apparently goes to show that my brain's not totally awake today. So
Well,
it's
wake
okay.
up your brain and let's do some
motorsports. Let's do some motorsportsing. That's not a verb. I just made it one.
Wow.
It's okay. It's been a day, okay? Okay.
Can we get to our first topic?
Well, I think our first topic here, this is the short opening segment where we tell people what we're going to talk about. I think our first topic, obviously, is going to be a last look at the 500 and going into Atlanta, because really what we learned from the 500 is absolutely nothing, since that package is now obsolete. And one of the things that's going to be good to talk about this weekend, of course, is the new package, which is mostly getting rolled out at Atlanta, not completely getting rolled out at Atlanta. That the full package rollout will be at Las Vegas when the aero ducks actually create the giant wake. We need the ducks as cooling ducks this weekend at Atlanta because we use a lot of brakes because, well, the track is abrasive and a cheese grater.
It is very abrasive.
You need brakes there.
It is a cheese grater.
If you don't have brakes at Atlanta, it's not good.
No, definitely not.
Anyway, yeah, we'll talk about the package. We'll talk about, Joe Gibbs Racing and whether they can continue to do their thing. I've heard Kyle Busch is kind of sort of good at Atlanta.
He is.
I've heard that.
So is Kevin Harvick.
We'll get to that. Yeah, Kevin Harvick's good. Maybe not quite as good as Kyle Busch at Atlanta. But anyway, and we'll talk about Toyota because they just scored their 100th Cup Series win at Daytona, and I think that's a cool thing, so we'll look back a little bit. First, though, we got to do a little bit of business, and Motorsports Madness is going to roll on in just a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness. Jacob Seelman and Tom Baker at the table that used to be round once upon a time.
Well, this table was never round. But
this table was never round. We used to have a round table.
Yeah.
Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch
now
are
it's just a table
behind the proverbial glass.
Yes.
And so coming up on this show, since I didn't have time to get to it in the first segment, we're going to have a couple of fun guests. And
yes,
anytime we can pull Clay Millican on to talk about NHRA Top Fuel drag racing is a good day, because Clay is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we like Clay, and we're very excited to have Clay back on the show.
Yes,
Strut Masters,
indeed,
one of his major sponsors, and Chip Lofton also sponsoring the NHRA segment for us. And that's a lot of fun. We're going to have Chip and Randy Pettit from Strut Masters on very soon, too. And, boy, that's going to be a fun show to be a part of.
It will be. And we're also going to have NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series driver Cory Roper joining us, coming off what I would argue is a hugely successful performance or showing at Daytona International Speedway. Just didn't get the result that was very fitting. I mean, he was running top 5 for a good portion of that race and looked to have a truck that could contend for the victory before just a little overcorrection out of the pack, and he ended up in the wall off turn 4. But very positive run going prior to that, and we'll get a chance to talk to Cory coming up about his story, which really circles back to Brad Keselowski racing when he purchased equipment after the shutdown of BKR, and has since done a lot with a little there. And,
he has.
I won't give away all the details there because I want Cory to be able to tell a little bit of that. But, you know, that was really the launching point for where he's gotten to right now, and it'll be exciting to have him on coming up.
He's a Texas racer, and it's always fun to have somebody on the show who's different and, you know, somebody we haven't heard a lot from or about.
Indeed.
So looking forward to that.
So before we get into the motorsports conversation, I got distracted and snickering by a tweet from one of our contemporaries that I just find it so hilarious I can't help but share it.
Please.
This from our friend Pete McCall at autoracing1.com, who says, appropriately enough, calling out a former NASCAR sponsor, hey Subway, you know when you're running an advertising blitz saying, try our new meatball sub, it might, keyword might, be a good idea to tell your Subway managers that when they're running low on meatballs, they should cook more meatballs.
Well, apparently they went to Subway to get a meatball sub and there weren't meatballs.
Exactly. To which, Yoda, their sign, please.
Reminds me, really.
That is why you failed.
Reminds me of a time that I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken and they didn't have any chicken.
Subway disappoints me.
What were you supposed to order?
Food eateries that don't have the food you want when you go in to order it just.
Well, it's one thing at Subway to run out of meatballs because you got a million other subs you can have. But if you're a Kentucky Fried Chicken store, and this was right down at the bottom of the hill from the Oswego Speedway, and it's classic weekend. Like, this is the biggest racing weekend of the year. How do you not know? It's Thursday, and you have no chicken? Like, somebody missed the boat on ordering chicken.
Yes.
I guess we surprised him. We actually went in and wanted to order chicken.
All right, so I just had a fun spur-of-the-moment topic that I can replace our conversation about the rules package for in this opening segment.
Okay.
Since we're talking about food, what food chain that either was in the sport and isn't in the sport now, or isn't in the sport yet, but you'd like to see in the sport, would you like to see jump in the sport as a sponsor?
That was that question seemed more complicated than it ought to be.
Okay,
but I think I get it.
Yeah, food chain that's not in the present. Yeah, past or present, food chain that's not in the sport that you want to see in the sport.
Well, I'd like to see all food chains in the sport, but
because you're a food guy.
Well, but I just like to see more sponsors, obviously. I will say that one of my favorite food chain cars is always when Front Row puts A&W on a car. Because it just looks good. The colors look good.
Yes.
Wow, that's an interesting question. I guess I would...
Randy's chuckling like he has an idea.
No, I just... You bring up these questions, and like a million different food chains went through my mind just then, because I was like, "Ooh, I remember the Taco Bell car. I remember when Zaxby's sponsored a truck. I remember all these food chains, and I was like, what food chain hasn't sponsored a race car?" And I thought Chick-fil-A, because the cow would be an awesome color.
Oh yeah, that would be great. The last time I remember seeing Chick-fil-A on a car was Harrison Rhodes, and
I don't think that was a primary deal. That was.
Well, I don't know. I mean, his dad owns a couple of franchises, so that's the last time I remember seeing Chick-fil-A on a car in any way, shape, or form. That would be great. I was thinking about In-N-Out.
Oh, that would be fun.
The West Coast chain, because everybody's always talking about In-N-Out Burger. I would think In-N-Out Burger would jump in and do something, and or Whataburger.
Ooh, yeah, there's another good one.
Whataburger doesn't they usually? Well, the one I know of in Texas.
Yeah, the real.
We have a handful here.
Yeah, sponsors David Starr usually when he runs.
Yes.
Okay.
The one Randy's talking about is the real Whataburger.
The real one.
Well, no, that's the one I was talking about too. Yes. I forgot they sponsored David.
Raising Cane's is a really cool sponsor too. They have a chicken. It's like a chicken chain in the South. Texas has them, but their colors. The colors are like red and yellow. So I think that'd be really cool.
We got a few folks in our chat here. Kyle Souza, Dan Kapazinski, good to see you guys. And Rod Wortham, Justin Sullivan also among those. So if you guys want to chime in here.
If somebody has an idea about food or an eatery that needs to sponsor something, please, by all means, put it in. Now, why do I bring up food? I really do have a point to all this.
Well, I had a feeling this might be where you were going.
Yes, because it's official. It's official. McDonald's is sponsoring Bubba Wallace at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend.
Yeah, and see, I'm looking at the car there, and I actually like the way that they painted that.
I like the white on red. It looks really good.
That's a very cool
They should have taken a page out of Corey LaJoie's book and put a giant Big Mac on the hood. Then he could have chased Corey around, and it would have been funny to see.
Yeah.
Or no, what would have been even better is if Corey's car was lined up right behind Bubba's car, and you've got Corey's face on the hood chasing the giant Big Mac.
There you go.
I'm going to sneak in here and say I'd like to see Five Guys.
See,
Murdoch has a good idea.
That's a good idea, Chris. I'd love to see Five Guys, actually. And again, I don't know why Five Guys is a little bit more, it's not really regional, but it's not as saturated nationwide as some of the other chains are. So
it's more like your Whataburger. It's coastal.
Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting. They've never done any real advertising. Five Guys has never done any real advertising, and they obviously don't have to, because they position their restaurants in such a way that they just don't have to. They don't have to do a lot of major advertising. They get all the business that they want. So they've been very successful without doing any large advertising campaigns. But that definitely is one of my favorite burger joints. Red Robin also comes to mind, but I don't know if they might have been in the sport at some point.
Red Robin is back in the sport now. As a matter of fact, they're going to be one of the major sponsors on the Hefner Racing sprint car that Ryan Smith is driving. The what used to be Greg Hodnett's 27 that they've now renumbered as 72. Yeah, a couple of the Red Robin franchises up there are going to be major sponsors on Ryan Smith's car this year with Mike Hefner. I thought that was really cool to see.
That's a Pennsylvania-based thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't even think that's the entire chain. I think that's the Pennsylvania franchise group in the area.
I think Red Robin started in Pennsylvania, though, didn't they?
I don't know for sure.
That'll be fun to look up during the break, as a matter of fact. So real quickly, in regards to the Bubba Wallace McDonald's Atlanta thing, they're highlighting the Bacon on Classics promotion that's going on right now. Tom loves this. Yeah, anything's better with bacon, but they've added bacon to 3 of the classic McDonald's menu items, which is obviously, as you said, woohoo, because bacon and a Big Mac, it just goes together.
If
right?
they actually have bacon when you order it.
Well, they better have it.
The non-existent ice cream machine.
They use it for breakfast food, too.
Yeah. So they've got the bacon Big Mac, the bacon quarter pounder, and cheesy bacon fries. Now tell me that doesn't sound wonderful.
Well, it sounds very fattening.
Something like that. Yeah, we don't need that. We're going to scurry off to a break. We'll come back and we'll actually talk more news and a little bit motorsports specific coming up in just a couple of minutes. So stand by. We'll keep going in a moment.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
Hi, I'm Brandon McReynolds, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
We back.
I'm Jacob Seelman. He's Tom Baker.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure. At least I didn't point at myself when I said your name. So we've been talking about bacon in the last segment.
Bacon's always good. Any
along
time of
with
the day.
a whole bunch of other food and food-related sponsors, because McDonald's is backing Bubba Wallace this weekend at Atlanta. That's where all that conversation came about. Anyway, let's talk about a little more motorsports news that kind of doesn't specifically revolve around food.
Good, because I'm getting hungry.
Naturally. So as the irreplaceable and incomparable Andy G told me earlier today, he said he'd give me $1 if I said something nice about him on air. So now maybe I can get $1.
Okay. That
anyway,
won't even buy you a cup of coffee anymore.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a nice thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he said we're going to have more announcements. Well, he was right. KBM had another announcement today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Chandler Smith is going to drive 4 truck races for KBM this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I figured that was going to be coming. I just wasn't sure when and how it was going to be coming. But sure enough, that announcement came out today. And I believe that's going to fill out the 51 truck for the season. They had a handful of races that were not yet taken care of. And now I'm pretty sure, if I'm doing the math right in my head, that all of that is settled. Yes, he's going to be in the 51 at Iowa on June 15th. And in August at Bristol, and he'll drive the 46 truck, which Rafi Lessard is going to be driving for a handful of races, at Gateway in June, and at Phoenix ISM Raceway in November.
Oh, wow.
He's also going to run a KBM Super Late Model, which that program is making a miraculous return from the dead. The Winchester 400 in October, the All-American 400 in November, and the Snowball Derby.
Okay.
Boom, confetti.
Good for him. It's a good opportunity. Chandler's come a long way, and, I think he's ready to test his skill set up at that level.
I think he is too. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this season, because Chandler certainly has proven himself very, very proficient at the ARCA Racing Series level. He won a couple of races last year. I believe is going to have an opportunity to compete again on that side a little bit this season as well, in addition to the races he's now got with KBM. But he's one of the Toyota development drivers that I feel like has found a home and found a place for himself very, very well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And Justin Sullivan on our chat suggesting Firehouse Subs would be a good sponsor.
Going
Love
back
to see that.
Going back to the food conversation.
So Chandler, if you're paying attention, go get Firehouse Subs, because see, this could go back. This could be really fun, because with the 51 truck, you paint it fire engine red, put Firehouse Subs on it, and it's kind of the whole Squad 51 for those of us old enough to remember the old emergency show that used to be on.
That'd be a lot of fun, actually.
You could have a Squad 51 truck out there with Firehouse Subs on it. So there you go, Chandler.
Wonderful.
There's your sponsor
ideas
for the night.
We're good at that.
Yeah. Sean Mott's in our chat. We got a sprint car driver.
Oh, jeez.
Legendary sprint car driver Sean Mott in our chat.
Don't blow up his head. Sorry, Sean. We love you.
Yeah, Sean. We just like to pick on him. Okay, so we got Atlanta coming up.
We do.
And as you said earlier, track's very abrasive.
Mm-hmm. Cheese grater.
Package.
Yeah. We have a new package that we have no idea what it's going to do.
No. So what do you think it's going to do?
Oh, gosh. You're asking me like I'm supposed to know? I hope it's going to promote more passing. That's not an answer of, I know what it's going to do, but I hope it's going to promote more passing, because it needs to promote more passing.
I think what's interesting about this, and Randy can jump in whenever, I think what's interesting about this is that you mentioned earlier that this isn't the full new package.
Yep.
And the only place we've tested the package is at Vegas, and I believe it was the exact Vegas package.
Correct.
So we've never tested the package that we're going to run at Atlanta.
It's almost the same package, just minus the ducts.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be a lot different, but who knows?
Correct.
And by the way, for those wondering about Mother Nature, it seems that Mother Nature
it's getting better and better and better.
She's getting less and less angry. It looks like right now Friday not good. Saturday and Sunday look pretty good.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get the racing in, if not practice or qualifying.
For the insider information, brake ducts and aero ducts kind of do the same thing from what I learned from my old job.
Brake ducts are cooling purposes. They don't funnel the air back outside and create a big wake like what NASCAR's doing.
Well, I guess that's different from what I heard.
It'll be interesting to
I only know what NASCAR says.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here. I would expect that we're probably going to see some really, really strange cars up in the front, at least for a little while.
I'm not so sure about all that.
You don't think?
No.
You don't think we could see mid-pack cars actually have a little bit of an advantage here?
The power team, it still comes back to engineering, and the power teams are going to do whatever they have to do to make sure they out-engineer everybody else.
Well, yeah, but you can't. Nobody's got any data going in.
No, I know.
That's what I'm saying. So
I know, but I still I don't believe we're going to see this giant upheaval of the. I still believe a power team's going to win this weekend.
Well, I mean, a power team will probably win. I just think there's at least a reasonable chance that we may see some of the 10th to 20th place cars
end
actually
up 5 to
being
10,
5
maybe?
to 10 or being in contention because of this, because nobody knows, especially with tire fall off here.
True.
That's always the unknown, and nobody knows what to expect. I think these cars are going to get nasty.
I hope they
10
do.
or 15 laps into a
I
run.
hope they
agree.
do, because then it's going to make.
That's what we need.
Then it's going to make drivers actually drive the car.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. So, brake ducts in effect at Atlanta.
In other news, by the way, the penalty police were out.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah.
Guess what? I have a hey, dear DGR Crosley, I have a trophy for you. You know what it says? Most penalized team of 2019.
Well, the only penalized team of 2019, right?
Not the only penalized team, but they already have more strikes than anybody else.
Well, they lost their appeal, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes, but that means that penalty stands. So they've already had one penalty, and now they have another one. This time it's the ARCA series, where they got penalized. They got dinged for a spoiler that did not meet the proper height, meaning that Todd Gilliland and the 4 team lose 100 points and get fined, I think, $6,000 and this, that, and the other. However, they weren't the only team penalized this week. Actually, Grant Quinlan and Rhett Jones Racing were hit with the exact same penalty for the exact same infraction.
Wow.
So second and third in that race had spoilers that did not conform. Yes, Chris, you're staring at me like you want to say something.
It's also important to note in the K&M penalty.
Yes.
They rescinded one part of that.
Yes, they did, actually. You're correct. They rescinded the penalties against crew chief Chad Walter. So Chad Walter does not have to pay $5,000 and is no longer suspended. He's good, but the penalties against David and Ty still stand. And it's not clear, at least to my knowledge, whether they're going to appeal to the final appeals officer, Brian Moss, before the race at Bristol, or if they're just going to let it go and take their lumps and move on.
So the K&M penalty that they appealed, they lost.
They kind of lost. They lost part, but they got one part rescinded.
Well, basically they lost, and they got a penalty for an ARCA infraction.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Okay, so DGR are going to be digging themselves out of a big of a hole in
a lot of a hole. However, they did have one piece of positive news yesterday,
and
Wednesday for those who are listening in podcast form. They have acquired a driver who will be debuting next week as part of the first time DGR Crosley will field 3 trucks in a NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series race. DGR Crosley is bringing Ryan Reed back to NASCAR.
Yeah, and I don't know what you guys think about this, but I love it. I love seeing Ryan get another shot. I think Ryan deserves an opportunity, and I think it was a shame that it didn't work out for him longer than it did at Roush Fenway, but they just needed to condense their program and focus on Cup. I think the idea that Ryan comes back, it's a fresh start of the Truck Series with a really good team in DGR. I think that's going to be a good situation, I think.
I'm torn on this. I love that Ryan is back in the truck, or back in NASCAR. Let me rephrase that, because I love what he advocates, what he stands for, and the cause, all that.
Yeah.
I hope he can show better in this situation than he did at Roush
Well, I think he
Fenway.
will, because I actually believe he'll have, better people around him than what he had in the Xfinity Series at Roush. I think he'll have equipment that's very competitive in that series.
Yes.
More so than the
Roush cars
Xfinity.
were
Yeah,
in the
they
Xfinity
were
series,
basically back half of the top 10 for the most part, except or worse, except on plate tracks.
Yeah, so I really do hope that he comes out and has a good showing. Now it's unclear whether this will continue beyond Las Vegas. The press release they sent out only specified Vegas for now. He'll have support from Dexcom, which is a diabetes treatment company that has worked with him for a long time, or treatment and management type company.
Yeah, well, and that fits his. Obviously, he is diabetic and uses the product, so that's in his wheelhouse, and hopefully he can put something together with them to take them on forward past that first race in Vegas.
Yes. Now, as we go to break, this tweet from Michael Waltrip, quote, remove from your brain tapered spacers and arrow rules package. They do not matter. When you watch the NFL, do you know how much a guy can bench press or his shoe size? It's just about beating the competition. Thanks, Mike. P.S. Enjoy the race.
Well,
I don't respond to that. We got to go to break. We'll be back right after this, and then you can respond to that.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend Carolina School of Broadcasting. The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Kaz Gralla, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
I think we need to get him on here soon. We're working on that.
I think we do.
I do know that Texas can't come soon enough.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm sure he's very excited about that, and I think we're going to get a chance to chat with him over the weekend. So watch Race Chaser Media's Facebook page for some video with Kaz from Atlanta. Speaking of Race Chaser Media, one of our partners in motorsports here, one of our radio partners, is My Computer Career. And if you really think about the fact that there are 2 million cybersecurity jobs in this country that are unfilled right now, if you're looking for a career change or you think that you might be inclined to enjoy IT work, well, guess what? My Computer Career can make an IT professional out of you in as little as 4 months. That's it, 4 months. It's not even full time. 2 to 3 times a week, either online or one of their 7 campuses around the country, and you could be an IT professional and fill one of those cybersecurity jobs in as little as 4 months. It is not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. You don't need to be good at math and science in order to grasp the concepts and be able to learn the skill set that you need to succeed as an IT professional. Here's the deal. They have financial aid available if you're eligible, and that includes, oh, by the way, the GI Bill, and they work with hundreds of employers. So there's an opportunity for you to fill one of the open positions that they have. They will do their best to place you once you have all of the knowledge that you need. So mycomputercareer.edu, there's a free career evaluation test. Go ahead and take that, and you can become an IT professional in as little as 4 months. And we want to thank the folks from My Computer Career for being a part of what we do here at Race Chaser Media. As we transition back to conversation here, you've got a couple of really interesting cars on your screen.
One of them has to do with a certain fast food chain that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that would be McDonald's.
That would be McDonald's. There will not be just one McDonald's car this weekend. There will be 2 because they've renewed with Chip Ganassi Racing.
Right.
They will not be on the 1 car, however. They will be on Kyle Larson's number 42 car. And all I'll say to that is their paint scheme of choice is a little interesting.
Yeah, I actually kind of like it.
I do. See, I like it too. Everybody else is complaining about the solid red with the arches. I like it.
And I like the 1 car too. Who we got on the 1 car there?
This is the other thing I was going to transition to. New sponsor for Kurt Busch this weekend. It will be a green and black car, but it will not be Monster on the 1 Chevrolet. It will be ComServe, which is a cybersecurity company.
Again, transitioning very nicely.
Yes, appropriate.
You could be working at ComServe in as little as 4 months.
So, yeah,
My Computer Career.
Yes, ComServe has been a part of Chip Ganassi Racing. They've supplied technology resources for them for about 5 years now. This is the first time they'll be a primary sponsor inside the sport. So I love seeing that.
That's great.
It's a new sponsor for the sport. It'll be interesting for them, I think, to see what kind of output, what kind of feedback they get from the sponsorship this weekend. But 2 brand new paint schemes for both of the Chip Ganassi Racing Chevy Camaros this weekend. And Kurt Busch is particularly notable. Actually, both Busch brothers are particularly notable this weekend. And I know you don't normally like me bringing up numbers, but I'm going to bring up some really useful numbers this weekend instead of just stats that you claim don't mean anything.
Well, I didn't say stats don't mean anything. I just said they don't mean everything.
Well, okay.
Nothing anyone's done at Atlanta in the past
means anything this weekend.
Right.
So I'm not bringing up something that they've done at Atlanta. I'm just bringing up something overarching that's really cool. Both Busch brothers will celebrate major milestones this weekend, and it's kind of cool to me that this is happening on the same weekend. Kurt Busch will celebrate his 650th Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series start, while little brother Kyle Busch will celebrate his 500th Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series start, all in the same weekend.
That's awesome. That's very good. Love seeing that.
Now Kyle Busch is trying to become only the 3rd driver in history to win his 500th start. Can you name either of the other 2?
No.
Aw, you're no fun. Randy, you got no ideas?
You asked. I mean,
okay.
I don't know, Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon.
Well, no. Now, in fairness, you were going towards the right direction in the legend sphere, for one of them at least. Richard Petty is one of the 2 who's done it.
That seemed too obvious.
Well,
I should have just went with it.
You should have just went with it. Anyway, the other one is more modern era, actually. He did it at Loudon, New Hampshire a couple of years ago. Matt Kenseth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I remember that it was a silver and yellow dollar. I believe it was Dollar General. It was on the car, and he took it to victory lane that afternoon.
Nice.
Couple years ago.
I don't remember
while
that
he was
being
still with JGR in the 20 car.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of legends, we have Derek Hagar in our chat.
Oh, jeez.
How about that?
Legend in his own mind, maybe.
Oh, come on now.
Just kidding.
Come
Actually,
on
I just saw Derek at the Chili Bowl last
He's a great
month.
sprint car driver, yeah.
No, and he's starting to become a halfway decent midget driver,
He
too.
is.
And he'll
He
tell
is.
you that's
Sure
a
is.
discipline that has taken him some time to get used to, but had a good showing at the Chili Bowl last month, and certainly I think is feeling a whole lot better about that program. So I'll be looking forward to seeing when he gets that scheduled together, kind of what selected midget races they choose to run this year. I know always runs the Chili Bowl and usually a few of the other high-profile races through
We need
the
to
year.
get Derek on the show.
Yes, we will have him. We will
Introduce him to our audience.
have to have him ring in from Marion, Arkansas at some point.
Well, and one of his fellow mid-Southerners, Clay Millican, will be on the show here tonight in just a little while.
Indeed.
So good to have
Little bit
some
different
representation.
little
from the
bit different mid-Southerner. He's Clay's from what part of Tennessee is Clay from?
Memphis area.
Yeah. Okay. Just keep going a little further south, and you eventually run into Derek.
Yeah, in Arkansas. Well, don't run into him. But,
yeah.
but do go visit him.
Yes, absolutely. Milestones. So we were talking about milestones during this segment. We talked about the Bush brothers. We'll talk about one that just happened that I think is really important, and one that it was funny. Even David Wilson from Toyota did not realize this at the end of the race last Sunday for the Daytona 500. That was their 100th victory, Toyota's, as a manufacturer in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Stop and think about from 2007 when they were struggling just to qualify for races when they first came into the Cup Series. Now they've got 100 victories at NASCAR's top level.
Okay.
Amazing to think about, isn't it?
Didn't like 99 of them come last year between the Toyotas?
Not quite, Randy. Not
Seemed
quite.
like it. Seemed like
I think they had like 19. No, that would have been 17. 18 was the Fords that dominated everything.
Yeah.
That's true. But, yeah, I think 2017 they had like 19 wins.
Well, and
something
see,
like that.
Toyota, I think over the last 3 or 4 years, if we kind of big pictured it, Toyota would be the manufacturer to beat.
Oh,
I mean,
easily.
Remember Kyle Busch? What year was it he won? What did he was 15, 16 when he won the championship?
15 when he came back and
spotted him 11
everybody.
races. And
they spotted,
still won.
him 11, and he still won the whole thing.
So yeah, Toyota's certainly done their share. By the way, Hagar is correcting you, Jacob. He says I live 5 minutes from Clay in Mumford, Tennessee.
Okay,
so they are both Tennesseans.
All right, so his
so don't go to Arkansas because Derek won't.
Well, okay, let me rephrase how I got that wrong. His listed hometown back when I was announcing sprint cars a few years ago was Marion, Arkansas. He's probably living in Tennessee now, and that's where I just got confused.
Okay,
confuzzled.
Well,
it's
we'll
okay.
let you go.
Yeah,
we'll let you get away with it.
Well, somebody's got
Speaking
to.
of Kyle Busch, there was
an
interesting bit of controversy after the 500, or
controversy?
at least some questions about whether Kyle Busch did the right thing or the wrong thing by letting his teammate Denny Hamlin get down in front of him after that restart. And look, we can go around the table on this. My feeling on this is that I know Dale Jarrett had some interesting things to say about it's every man for himself, blah, blah, blah. But when I look at the fact that the circumstances were such that this was an opportunity for Joe Gibbs Racing to perhaps have a 1-2-3 finish, or at least a 1-2 finish for JD.
Nobody saw Eric Jones coming.
I understand Dale's argument that, this is the one major thing that Kyle hasn't done is won the Daytona 500. As far as I'm concerned, I think Kyle did a great thing. We can debate whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, or whether he should have just gone for it. But what if the two of them get together and crash?
And then no Joe Gibbs car wins the Daytona 500.
Or maybe,
As Kyle openly acknowledged to one of my questions after the race in the post-race press conference, our first priority is getting not his, Joe Gibbs racing car to victory lane, and he felt that was the best way to at least accomplish that goal and give them a chance to fight it out amongst themselves.
Well, that's kind of my thought.
Do I totally agree with that? No, but because I feel like it should be every man for themselves at that point.
But there's a point, I think, where I mean, I don't know if Kyle could, if he went back, I don't know if he would do it again, but
I just think in that circumstance, Randy, I don't know what your 2 cents is, but I feel like in that circumstance, what Kyle did was selfless, and it was you don't see much teamwork, at that point in the race. And I think that was pretty cool, especially under the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, an organization win is an organization win, but I mean, maybe I was watching the wrong race, but Danny was pretty quick. So, I mean, did Kyle really let him in, or did he just go right by?
Well, I don't know. And that's the other thing I guess you can take a look at. But I just feel like it was worth bringing up. And my opinion is that there are certain times when you take one for the team. And I think this time, under the circumstances, it was just fine that he did that, if in fact he did. And I'm sure he actually thought he was going to get help and be able to race back for the win.
Absolutely.
Which didn't happen. I mean, Michael McDowell tried, but...
Michael tried. And even Joey tried at one point. At one point, Joey was right behind Kyle trying to give him a push.
Yeah. Kyle doesn't seem like a teammate kind of person. I mean, I know he is, but, he's all about number one most of the time.
Well, but he's, I think he's matured a little bit. And, I just think it was a circumstance where he felt like this time this was the right way to do it.
Yeah. He really wants to win the 500, so I mean...
Right.
Yes. And there is a part of me that believes now, going forward, especially knowing what stage Kyle Busch is in his career, that we could, over the next couple of years, see a very concerted effort by Joe Gibbs Racing to give Kyle Busch one heck of a bullet to try and go out and win the Daytona 500.
Yeah, it was Paul Menard. Or Jimmy Johnson.
I mean, I think he had it this year, and I'm sure that I believe Kyle's got enough time left to go chase him a win in the 500.
He's only 35.
Yeah, he's got a while yet if he wants to hang around that.
Sorry, 30. He'll be 30. He's 33. He'll be 34 in May.
I think there are two sides to this coin, guys, and I know we're close to a break, but I'll say one in Kyle's defense, like he said in a quote, it was the best shot he had to win that race. But in another quote from him as well, it's better that a Joe Gibbs car wins a race than no Joe Gibbs car at all.
Well, yeah, I agree. That's why I'm saying I think it was fine, and I don't agree with just blatantly saying Kyle shouldn't have done that.
Right.
And I think that every situation's different. My guess is if next year we get there and we have the same situation, not going to be so easy.
Exactly. And with that, we're going to get ready to circle off to a break here. Later on in this program, I want to have a Hall of Fame discussion kind of and revolve it around Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and debate some things there. Hello, tongue twister.
You can't even get that out either.
We'll be back right after Jacob unties his tongue.
Yeah, something like that. But seriously, we got more madness coming up in a minute.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem and no excuses, because it's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Chase Cabry, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now, back to the show.
So a short Chase Cabry discussion here while we've got a couple of minutes, Tom. I was reading some quotes from him through NASCAR Home Tracks earlier this week, and Chase is really fired up going to Bristol. Like, he felt like they had a rear gear seal, I think it was, fail at New Smyrna that prevented him from being able to challenge for a win. But I firmly believe that Chase had a car that was capable of contending for that victory, and he really, I got the impression he really feels like that's one that got away.
Well, and see, I think that this feels to me like a now or never kind of year for Chase.
He said that because of the changes that are coming to the K&N series with the merger.
Well, but even aside from that, he's had a couple of years. I mean, it's now or never. Chase needs to go out and win some races, and he's been fast enough to win. And I'm certainly not implying that the reason he hasn't won has always been him or whatever, but just to say that, in year 3, you need to kind of go out and show that you can perform. And it's basically him and Ruben Garcia carrying the mantle pretty much. I think we'll get an occasional appearance
by Ernie Francis.
But for the most part, it's Chase and Ruben, and we know that Ruben has won at least one race each year. So, I think it's Chase's time. He needs to go out and show that he can, and I like the confidence, and I hope that I hope he can carry through and get himself a win.
I like the confidence as well. I think it's something that's maybe been lacking a little bit in the past year or so, especially last year. Last year knocked him down a good bit, and I would really, I really hope to see him kind of get back up on the horse a little bit this season, because I feel like he's got, certainly some talent. He's got some fast race cars with Rev Racing. They've done a lot of work in the off season, and I just want to see Rev Racing get back to doing well again. They've been a little bit off kilter, so to speak, the last couple years compared to the years they had a few back with Bubba and with Sergio Pena and some of those, even Larson the year he won the championship.
It's been a different series the last 2 or 3 years with all the mega teams.
It has been. And, you're not
Rev
wrong about that at all.
The resources that a lot of these mega teams have.
That's very true. So with all of that being said, we're going to go ahead and step aside, and that's half of this show. The other half of this show is going to be chock full of stuff with guests, Cory Roper, Clay Millican coming up. We'll have more of that when we come back.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
If you're a gearhead and you just can't get enough of your favorite motorsports on that channel on the cable, or you look at that Guy network and you just go, what does that have to do with me? We have the answer. Performance Motorsports Network. Right here on the internet. The best cruise and tunes, the best in motorsports programming, and the best shows. We have opinionated hosts, and we like it that way. If you want to get involved, if you want to bench race, be listening for information coming up soon right here on this channel, the Performance Motorsports Network, your source for motorsports.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver William Byron. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
I'm going to make an adjustment on the fly here, considering that spot is what brought us back from break just now. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker. This is Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch are behind the glass, and since William Byron brought us back from break, I'm going to appropriately take a moment to acknowledge somebody who we lost last weekend because he designed William Byron's paint scheme that led the field green in the Daytona 500, Sam Bass. And real quickly, I know this is a short segment, Tom, but people like Sam Bass, in my mind, are exactly what the Landmark Award for Outstanding Contributions to NASCAR that the Hall of Fame puts up every year. People like Sam Bass are exactly what that award was meant to honor, because Sam gave so much to this sport.
We really did. I mean, not only the brilliant artwork that just, I mean, nobody will ever probably again
do what Sam
has done in that area, but he was just such a gentleman. And
he was.
You know, he really loved the sport, and he dedicated his life to the sport and did everything he could to improve the sport and, you know, uplift the sport in his own way.
It wasn't about the glory for Sam.
No.
It was about making the sport better and making people better by what he did.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this Monday night too, when Josh Owen was given his final guitar.
Yes.
That he had created.
Oh, I about started crying.
You know, after he performed at Daytona this year, that was pretty amazing. And, so we're all going to miss Sam Bass. I mean, the sport's not going to be the same without his artwork. But even more than that, the sport's not going to be the same without him.
Correct. Sam Bass was just 57, unfortunately, when he left us over the weekend. That news breaking just prior to Saturday's Xfinity Series race at Daytona. So on a brighter note, in this hour of the program, we are going to hear from two guests who join us. The first coming up in just a moment is going to be NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series racer Cory Roper out of Texas. And later on in the hour, we're going to hear from NHRA Top Fuel dragster driver Clay Millican. And we know how much fun Clay has, not just down a drag strip, but when he is chatting with us as well. So we'll get to all of that coming up in just a couple of moments. You're listening to or watching Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career. We'll be back right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem and no excuses, because it's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication, but it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Matt Tift, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Things I learned about that we can discuss during the lightning round. I actually learned the origin earlier this week of why Matt Tift is running the 36 in the Cup Series. Actually, a really fun story. So we can talk about that during the lightning round. Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman and Tom Baker in front of the camera. Behind the camera and behind the glass are Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch punching buttons and keeping us on the air. And right now, we are going to the Race Chaser Hotline to talk with our first of 2 special guests on tonight's program. And welcome for the first time to this show, NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series driver Cory Roper, who put on a heck of a run at Daytona International Speedway last weekend, and it just didn't quite end the way that I think a lot of us in the sport were hoping it would end, because it was just cool to watch Cory up in the draft, and we've got him on the phone with us now. Cory, welcome to the program, and I know, like I said, I know the result wasn't what you wanted, but I gotta say congratulations, because I don't think if you'd have given me $5 to put on before the race, I don't know that your name would have jumped to mind as an underdog to watch, but you certainly proved a lot of people wrong and contended for a long time in that race.
Well, hey guys, thanks for having me on. Well, I appreciate that. To be honest with you, I had no idea what to expect whenever we got there too. So to be able to, first of all, just wonder about qualifying in. I mean, there was a lot of fast trucks there. First time I've even been to a place like that. So very new to me. First time we've ever built a truck to go to a place like that. So it was a lot of pressure just to be able to get into the race. But once we did, of course, my whole mindset turned around and started wondering, well, how are we going to do this now? You know, I mean, I've never been in a draft, never done this. And to be able to kind of sit in the back and learn how the air kind of affects the trucks for the first couple of stages was very cool. But I got very comfortable in it and kind of felt like we ought to see what we could do. So that's what we did. And we drove that thing up through the pack and got up there in the lead before the big one happened, or close to the front before the big one happened. So we was pretty proud of it.
Cory, for those who aren't real familiar with you, who are in our audience, give us just a little bit of your background in the sport.
Well, there's almost everybody out there is probably just like me in the racing world, right? I started as just a short track, mini stock driver, and did that when I was very young. And once it gets in your blood, the only thing you can do is try to figure out how to make enough money to get back to the racetrack. Yeah. And that's what I did most of my life. Is try to just keep going to the next class, and got into the local series late model classes and started having some success, and won a couple of championships and a couple of points in track championships. So after that, I tried to take it on the road and run the traveling series, in late models, pro lates and super lates, and that's what we've been doing for a while. And last year, just kind of some things fell in our lap, and we were able to acquire some good trucks, and the NT1 engine that NASCAR went to in the truck series kind of opened the door up for a guy like me to maybe take a chance in NASCAR. Kind of opened the door, and we were really just planning on running some late models, and when they made that engine change, I really kind of started kicking it around and thought, let's try it, let's go for it, right? So that's how we got here.
You bought some of Brad Keselowski's trucks, right? So you got some really good equipment.
Yes, sir. It really started with just one or two, and see what me and my brothers could do, and brothers and brother-in-law and friend, and the guys that helped us on these trucks. And I was going to buy one, and ended up making a deal for two of them, and then kind of turned around and made a deal for three. That would have kind of had a short truck. I knew I had some learning to do, so I was worried about having one truck, and so I ended up buying a kind of a short track package and a couple of intermediate packages, and I wanted to go run some mile and a half. That was kind of what my dream was. Daytona was way out the ballpark for me, but that's kind of what happened. And next thing, one thing fell into to another, and I ended up kind of acquiring a lot more than just the three trucks. We ended up getting most of the equipment out of BKR, from chassis dynos to pull down machines to
wow.
I ended up even buying one of his haulers. So all the equipment as far as suspension equipment, and I think we ended up with 16 trucks when it was all said and done.
Whoa!
So
yeah.
So for anybody who's wondering, Cory, at this point, you're invested at this point. This is far beyond just going and doing a couple truck races for fun. I mean, you guys seem to be all in at this point.
Well, and that's exactly what we did. Me and my wife and even my kids have got my back on this. They know what I've tried to do my whole life, and kind of sat down with them and said, if we make this investment, there could be a future in it, but it's kind of, there's a bunch of people out there that they can do this now, but what do you put first, right? The cart or the horse? So, I kind of risked it all and made the investment, and hopefully something will work out.
Awesome.
We're going to struggle. We're going to struggle making these races. I mean, it's a struggle for us to get to Atlanta, and we're going to do our best to try to make Vegas, and then after that, I don't know what happens. We got to have some help to do this, but we proved that we could build these things to run, with the guys. I've got some learning to do, but it's coming around. The only way you can learn it is to drive them. So we're invested, and hopefully something will come along, and we'll be able to keep racing. I mean, that's what we want to do, right? We worked our whole life to get here, and I was just trying to figure out how to stay.
So we've got a couple of minutes in the segment left, but I'm hearing that if you can get the right help and get the right pieces, it sounds like the goal is even if you're taking it race by race, to try and put the whole schedule together if you can.
Yes, sir. That's the plan. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to run a full season, and eventually get to where we have a couple of truck teams. I mean, I love the truck series, and I'm not young, but I think we can run a good series, and I want to be able to put younger guys in these trucks that maybe are not bringing the money to the field. Maybe I can go find some talent to run these when I'm ready to step out, and that's my goal, is to be able to build a successful race team and run for some championships.
That's cool to hear, and I think really exciting, not just from a standpoint of your team, but I think the series as a whole. I mean, we've been talking on this show for a couple of weeks now how with everything that has changed in the truck series, that it's opening up new opportunities for a lot of people. So I think something like this is exciting to hear all the way around, Cory, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do, not just this weekend at Atlanta, but going forward. Now, what partners do you have? Obviously, we want to give you a chance to shout out to some of the people and supporters that are making it possible for you. What companies and people do you need to give a shout out to and say thanks for helping you get to the racetrack?
Well, it's mostly my family and the business that we have. We have called Preferred Industrial Contractors. It's a company that I started up about 9 years ago, and that's what's helped us get here. And I just want to really say thanks to mainly my brothers and friends and that come over to the shop and work after their real jobs and work all night. And we have not even slowed down since Daytona. I mean, you can imagine what we had to do to get 2 trucks ready to come to Atlanta after getting home from Daytona. We left right after the races and headed home. So, and I just pulled in Atlanta. I mean, I just got into the infield and put the outriggers down on the motorhome. So we're wore out, and it's been long, but this is what we want to do, and hopefully we get to stay here. And I have some help coming on, like Miller Welder. They put some weld machines in our shop that we didn't have before for the aluminum welding and things like that. But so they're helping us out a lot, and hopefully we can bring some partners on that want to join us and take this ride with us. I really think we've got a good thing going here, and we want to stay.
Well, we hope you get a chance to stay, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the racetrack this weekend, Cory. Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us on the program, and we'll see you here and see what you can do on the racetrack in a couple of days.
All right, guys. Appreciate you having me on. You have a good one.
Thanks, Cory.
Thanks, Cory. That's Cory Roper, and definitely exciting to hear his story and the fact that he hopes to be in this sport for a long time to come. I think that's something that's very, very refreshing. I don't think he's going anywhere. No, I don't think so. We're going to step aside. When we return, Clay Millican, oh boy, on Motorsports Madness.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
Hi, this is John Andrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ben Rhodes, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Kentucky introducing Tennessee. That seems almost appropriate, all things considered. Welcome back to Motorsports Madness. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, and going back to the Race Chaser hotline now to chat again with arguably one of our favorite guests, I think. And I'm not just saying that because he can hear us. We have a lot of fun with Clay Millican. So let's see. We got through Pomona in one piece, Clay, and we're going and having some fun now. So, talk a little bit about your weekend to open the season, and I know Wild Horse has been pretty good to you the past couple years.
It really has. I mean, Pomona, we obviously came in, new team, new crew members, new crew chiefs, but same car that you could count on, and they actually, we did pretty good for as much as we had going on. I was really happy with how everything went. I mean, we got a great group of guys working on this thing. I mean, I'm back with old Mike Klober, guy that I won all my NHRA championships with, Jim Oberhofer, who's been with, Kalita for 30 years, and my buddy Jack Wyatt, wily old funny car driver. He knows how to get things done, and, man, we're having a blast. We really are. We're looking forward to this weekend here in Phoenix. It's at the moment, I just pulled out of the racetrack. It is cold and rainy, but when this rain goes away, that means one thing. It's going to be fast out here in this desert.
Well, I think somebody from NASCAR is going to be happy to hear that there's another sanctioning body that can bring rain to the desert. Besides that.
Oh, I mean to tell you, we were here, previous for testing, and it was cold and rainy then, and it followed us to Pomona. They've had a drought out there forever, and now I think they're having floods out there. It's just crazy.
Wow.
NHRA now has rained again. That's what that is.
Now has rained
something
again.
like that. Let's see, Tom. I know some. Clay was talking about all the new old people that have come back because it's all his IHRA buddies that have been banded back together to make this all happen. But I seem to know something else that's on that car that makes him a little bit quick too, huh?
Well, yeah, and it has to do with suspension. It's all about suspension. If you own a luxury car or if you own an SUV, eventually your high-tech suspension system is going to fail. Okay, but when it happens, here's what you do. You just call Strutmasters, or you go online to strutmasters.com, and you just let them know what your problem is, what kind of vehicle you have, and they will fix you right up. This is a really cool opportunity for us to work with Chip Lofton and his staff at Strutmasters, and they are the suspension experts. And, oh, by the way, also a primary sponsor on Mr. Millican's really fast hot rod.
Yeah, I think the only thing faster in this segment than Strutmasters is probably Clay.
Yes, exactly.
Something like that.
I'm sure that you've enjoyed working with Chip and Strutmasters as well, right, Clay?
Oh, absolutely. We've worked with Chip for many, many years, and he is just a good guy. It's a good family. We love working with them. They are just awesome people, no questions about it.
Well,
they got a great product. It's just unbelievable how quick they get that stuff out. It's pretty cool. I've been to their place before, and it's first class.
Between Chip and then Steve Tucker and the folks at Wow, that completely.
Parts
I
Plus?
looked at Parts Plus. I looked at the Strutmasters logo, and I'm like, okay, it's Parts Plus. You really have a couple of great sponsors there, and it's fun to see those guys participating in NHRA, because I think NHRA may be the form of racing that's growing more than anything else right now. I seem to know more fans migrating toward drag racing away from some of the other parts of the sport than anything else.
That is a fact. I mean, NHRA drag racing, we are actually, the television is up. The grandstands are full. I mean, it is definitely growing. I mean, a lot of the other motorsports are struggling, putting people in the grandstands. Their TV is struggling a little bit, but drag racing is on the move. I mean, it has been on an uptick for the last few years. I mean, it's by far the most American sport, as far as I'm concerned, that you can go see, because everybody these days wants instant results. If you get that, because you got a winner and a loser in a matter of seconds. It's a whole lot like a fist fight, actually.
Hang on a minute. Being from Memphis, you wouldn't know anything about that, Clay. Come on now.
Oh, come on now. You know how big I am. I weigh 135 pounds soaking wet. You know I'm not doing much fist fighting. Exactly. In the lightweight category.
Exactly. Oh, man. So for those in our audience who may not be as familiar, I mean, I've watched a few drag races from Wild Horse, and obviously it's a fun place for you guys to start the season, too, because you do all your winter testing out there. But what makes the drag strip there in Phoenix unique compared to some of the other places y'all visit during the year?
Well, I mean, it's just the time of year. This is a great time of year to be in the Phoenix area. I mean, obviously I'm saying that and it's pouring down rain and 48 degrees or something. But, the fans out here are really knowledgeable. They really keep up with what's going on because, we do come out here and test before the season starts. And then, we come back a few weeks later. And it's just a fun place to race. The whole area around here loves motorsports. I mean, this facility, if you just think about all the things that it has going on, I mean, you got the Bob Bondurant Driving School is right there. You got Firebird Lake, where they have some of the most legendary drag boat races that they've ever been. It's all right here in one facility. It's a fun place to race. I love coming here.
It's definitely, I think, a picturesque part of the country for sure, and I've got to imagine that the fan base there is pretty doggone rabid, and because again, they don't see you guys all that much, and it's a great time of the year usually to be out in that part of the country.
That is for sure. I mean, and it will be nice. This rain's supposed to go away, and again, it'll be cool, which means the cars will go really fast. And, I mean, last year we actually, for about, 15, 20 minutes, we had set the national record at Pomona at 3.62 seconds. And then we came here the following race and actually went 335 miles an hour, which was the fastest speed ever for about two pair. And Tony Schumacher ended up going like 336 and just beat us by a couple hundredths on that. So, yes, the cars can go really fast here. When you catch the air just right, the track's really good here. And like I say, they do such a good job. The NHRA Safety Safari, they definitely have tried to slow us down a little bit in how they prep the racetracks. But, that's purely for safety. These things go over 330 miles an hour, and and the tires can only take so much. But man, what a show! I mean, you're still talking about cars that'll exceed 330 miles an hour on a regular basis. It's just, it's funny. I went 327 first round at Pomona, and it's kind of like, it run okay. It went 327.
What kind of effect does that have on the body? To your body to go that fast? I know it's only for a few seconds, but what kind of an effect physically does that have?
Well, I mean, the going part actually is not bad on your body at all. I mean, for me, it is the ultimate roller coaster ride. No two ways about it. You're talking, the moment you step on the throttle, you're over 4 Gs, and then a couple 100 foot into the run, you're near 6. Oof. Well, that's the fun part of the run, but the part that's bad on your body is the stopping. Negative Gs are not good on anything. It tries to, throw you out the car, and your insides don't like it. I mean, if you look back over the history of drag racing, the stopping is kind of what put Big Daddy out of the sport. He detached some retinas from opening both parachutes at, driving into them at 300 miles an hour. Joe Amato, had neck problem, and all that's from stopping. Now, a lot of that has went away, kinda, a little bit of the neck problems. The eye thing's still a problem, but, I depend on my Hans device just to kind of hold my head when you open the chutes, and, you're not having to strain your neck muscles to hold your head, and you just kind of let the Hans device do its job, and, and you just kind of squint. When those parachutes are about to open, you squint. Not that you're not squinting going 330 miles an hour, because you probably are.
So we got a couple minutes left in this particular segment, Clay, but I got to ask, it wasn't you that beat him, but is it at least somewhat comforting to know that, hey, after 27 straight rounds, Steve Torrence can actually be beat?
I tell you what, the run that they had was absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously, history making. Nobody had ever done that. You know, he runs the tables during the countdown, and the competition out there is, certainly capable of stopping a streak like that, but it didn't happen. I mean, that team put together something that will probably never be done again. And truth be told, I don't think they got as much credit as they should have got for what they did. Lord knows we took our best shots at them a few times, trying to stop them and try to win that championship, and we couldn't do it, and apparently nobody else could either. That is a heck of a group, a great team they put together, and they need all the credit in the world because they've done something. I mean, if it happens again, I'd be surprised. I mean, because when you go that many rounds, sooner or later something will break. You'll smoke the tires. Somebody will lay down a phenomenal run. But it didn't happen, so hats off to those guys, them Capco boys, as Stevie always says, it was an amazing run, and I mean, it's just incredible.
So we don't want Clay to go anywhere. I actually have one more follow-up question for him coming up in our next segment before we completely turn him loose. But we have so much fun with Clay that if I get into that right now, Randy will be throwing things at me. So we're going to hold the winding of that little string here, the knob, for just a second. But to say that for sure this weekend, keep it tuned to the Fox family of networks throughout the weekend. I know tape delay qualifying for the NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series, and then final eliminations Sunday fit in somewhere around the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series event that will be happening at Atlanta that we will all be at, Tom.
500.
Indeed. So with all of that said, we're going to keep Clay for just a minute and run off to a break, and when we come back, I got one more fun question for Clay about the people that he's managed to get the band back together. As he says, Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career, continues right after this.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this could be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Cole Custer, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career and also HMS Motorsport. We want to make sure to thank the leaders in motorsport safety for what they do to help make our shows possible here on Race Chaser Radio. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, behind the table. Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch behind the proverbial glass. And we've got Clay Millican still on the hotline. And before I cut Clay loose, I wanted to give Clay a chance to talk, now that he's had a race under his belt, about getting the band back together. Because, Clay, you mentioned Klober in the last segment. How cool has that been for y'all after all the IHRA success you had together to now kind of come back together a few years down the road for each of you and take a stab at this NHRA thing and winning a championship? Because I know how bad both of y'all want to get back to the top of the heap.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, Mike and I had an unbelievable run, in the IHRA, 6 consecutive championships, 50 wins in Top Fuel. And we did that all in 7 years. Our first year together, we finished second in points. We won a few national events. And then, we went on a streak, 6 consecutive world championships, So, we parted ways for a few years, but we never not stayed buddies. We continued to talk. We were always talking, it was. And when the opportunity came about that he was ready to come back, it wasn't no question in my mind that, hey, that's the guy that I want, twisting the knobs, turning the screws to make this thing go fast. He and I have done so many things together, and we've kind of nicknamed, this year the Unfinished Business Tour. I mean, we won all those IHRA races, and we never got a huge opportunity to race in the NHRA. We would get a handful of races during that run, and we actually went to, I think, 10 NHRA events in like 2004, and we went to 3 consecutive final rounds. Now, we didn't win any of them, but we went to 3 consecutive final rounds, and you had full-time teams that weren't even able to do that back then. Yep. So for us to get back together, this many years later, and to have the opportunity to do it, I mean, for me, it's like it is an unfinished business tour. We want to go out there and we want to get our first NHRA win together. He's won NHRA events as a crew chief, and I have now won some as a driver, but we haven't done it together. I mean, a lot of people have forgot, what all Mike Klober has done. He won the Big Bud Shootout and the U.S. Nationals as Don Perdome's crew chief during the Skull Funny Car days, back when Perdome was still driving the maroon car. That was like in 1989.
Yeah,
and then he went on to be... Yeah, and he was a very young man as Don Perdome's crew chief back then. And, then he went on to be the crew chief that made the very first ever 300-mile-an-hour funny car run with Jim Epler. So, I mean, it's not like this guy don't know what he's doing. He is a bad dude, and more than anything, he's a good person, and he's a good friend. And having him back is, for me, it's like, oh, man, this is like putting on a comfortable pair of shoes. The first time he rolled me up into the station beams when we were here in Phoenix testing, I just started smiling. I'm like, we didn't even have to talk about what we were going to do. We've done this 1,000 times together. It was just like a natural fit. I mean, I basically learned how to drive a Top Fuel car with Mike Klober. All the safety gear I wear, the way I do everything. I learned from him, and like he says all the time, the only thing I've ever staged is my foot. But he had done it for so long, his whole life essentially, was around nitro cars, and so I took everything that he told me, and I took it as gospel, and that's how I drive the race car to this day, is the way that he taught me.
Was it tough, though, with the success you'd had recently to go a different way from Grubby? Because I know y'all had built some pretty good chemistry together, too.
Oh, yeah. It was just time for a change. He had opportunities, and we had the opportunity to bring Mike back, and it was just best for both of us. I get to work with one of my best friends as a crew chief, and our team is definitely going to be stronger and better. Will it be a little slow starting? Maybe, but I am very excited for the opportunity in front of us because, we've got a dedicated group. And I mean, we've been talking about Mike, but you got to look, we got Jim Oberhofer over here helping and Jack Wyatt. I mean, I raced together with Jack Wyatt when he was driving Funny Car in the NHRA. He's a guy that's been there, done that himself. And he knows how to get things done. And we got a group of young guys. We got some experienced guys and some young guys. And I'm excited about it, And the beauty of the way the countdown works in the NHRA, we can afford to kind of take the first part of the season to learn. Are we planning on winning immediately? Absolutely. Will we have some, maybe some hiccups here and there? Maybe. But with the way this point system works, you just got to keep yourself in the top 10, and you got to be hitting on all 8 during the last 6. We just talked about what Stevie did. If you can get on a roll in the last 6, you can be the world champion. So it is a heck of an opportunity we got in front of us here, and we are definitely going to take advantage of it. And I'm having a blast having Mike Plover, rolling me into those staging beams again. It is so cool. And actually, I was pretty excited. They have that on the front of the National Dragster, which is the magazine that goes to hundreds of thousands of people, and that's what they've got, out this weekend during this race is Mike rolling me into the staging beams. It just makes me smile. That one will go up on the wall at the house for sure.
That's awesome.
There you go, Clay.
Great.
Well, we appreciate you taking a few minutes out of getting ready for your weekend to chat with us. Always a pleasure, and best of luck down there in Arizona.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me on, and y'all come out and check us out in the Parts Plus Strutmasters.com Top Fuel Car. We will be at 24 events throughout the year out there stomping on that loud pedal every time we get a chance.
Well, we will see you at Charlotte for sure.
I was going to say, we'll see him at least 2 of them. So we're looking forward to that. That's Clay Millican, and we're going to transition from Top Fuel conversation right into our lightning round and revisit a question that I brought up earlier on in the program, Tom. So I'm just, no preamble. We're just going to get right down to business here.
Here we go.
Is Denny Hamlin a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely not.
Okay, why?
Because he hasn't achieved enough. I think where everybody's getting Denny Hamlin Hall of Famer is from the fact that he's won 2 Daytona 500s. Well, that's great. There are a lot of people who've won Daytona, but, I don't know that makes you a Hall of Famer. I think Denny's I think there's still some career left where you could open up a discussion and put him into the Hall of Famer category. But right now, at this point, if it ended just with the Daytona 500 wins, and it's not because he doesn't have a championship, I just don't think he's in that category. If they put some guys like Junior, like Buddy Baker, some other guys into the Hall of Fame, then maybe eventually you start talking about that. But right now, no.
All right,
not
Randy.
my opinion.
Is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. Is he a first-round Hall of Famer? No. Because if you look at, again, stats, but if you look at race wins, Denny actually is the active driver with the most wins without a championship right now at 32, I believe, 33?
Yeah, 32.
So, I mean, if you look at everybody above him is in the Hall of Fame except for Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, and Tony Stewart.
And we know all 3 of them are guaranteed in the Hall of Fame.
Or Kyle Busch, and they're all going to be first-round Hall of Famers. So is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. First round, probably not.
All right. See, I agree with Randy. I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I don't believe he's
well, that's why I qualified mine.
A Hall of Famer quite
Some other guys that need to be in there first.
But 2 Daytona 500s, 2 Southern 500s, even without the championship, the only driver who has more wins on the list than Denny, I believe, that doesn't have at least one Cup Series championship is Mark Martin, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So at that point.
But again, we get into a bigger discussion that we don't have time for of what qualifies a Hall of Famer.
Right,
You know,
but Denny is also one of a very select group of drivers to have wins in all 3 NASCAR National Series, too, and I think that speaks for something as well. Then you raise the question, if you're looking at this, is Carl Edwards a Hall of Famer? Because Denny Hamlin has far more credentials, I would argue, than Carl Edwards does in his career.
This is what I'm saying, and Josh Ray in our chat saying, no, he doesn't believe Denny Hamlin's a Hall of Famer either. I mean, as of right now, especially as Randy said, not on first ballot by any means.
No, he's not.
And of course, he's not retired yet, so we're not. But and we're not rushing him off. By the way,
no, not at all.
Just because you win 2 Daytona 500s does not necessarily make you a Hall of Famer. In my book, I think there has to be some more. I'd like to see some more off the track. Accomplishments and impact on the sport for Denny before we start looking there.
You know what's funny is that this time last year we were talking about how Denny may not even have a ride at the end of last year, and now we're talking about is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah,
he won another Daytona 500.
How quickly the discussion can change.
And I'm not saying he won't lose his ride this year. I'm just
that's
saying
the other thing. We're still wondering about the whole. When is Chris Bell going to be ready?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a couple scenarios that could play out with that we don't have time for in this lightning round. I want to fit in a story here during the lightning round as well that I learned this week because everybody kind of was wondering when Matt Tifft came up and they announced the 3rd Front Row Motorsports car, what car number would he use? And the 35 is a number that Front Row Motorsports had used most recently when they did run 3 cars. However, Matt had some influence in the 36 being the number that was used, and that actually stems back to the driver who was not only a mentor for Matt Tifft, but actually one of the very first car owners that he had when he jumped up into the national level, because it's the car number that this driver had for a couple of years when he was driving at the national level. It stems back to Ken Schrader. Funny how a lot of things in this sport stem back to Ken Schrader if you really go digging.
A lot of things we could never talk about on this show.
That's exactly right. But Schrader, if you remember, ran the 36 when he was running the M&M's car for several years in the Cup Series. Schrader was Matt Tiff's car owner for a year in the ARCA Racing Series, now the ARCA Menards Series under the NASCAR acquisition. And when Front Row was talking about the potential available numbers, Tom, that they could use, Matt circled the 36 in honor of Ken's impact on his career and on his life as being one that, that may not be a story that a lot of people have talked about.
That's
but
awesome.
as wanting to say thank you to Kenny for really helping to propel him forward in the sport and running the 36 in his honor as a way to do that. I actually read that story the other day and I smiled. I said to myself, okay, this is really, really cool.
Well, that reminds me of Schrader's impact on Carl Edwards, because when Carl was presented his contract from Jack Roush to sign, it was like 80 pages long, and
he took it to Schrader.
It was overwhelming for him to try to read, so he calls up Schrader, who he was good friends with, and says, I got this 80-page contract from Jack Roush, should I sign it? Schrader says, well, you got anybody else offering you an 80-page contract? No. Then you better sign it. So, it's just...
that's the truth.
That is the truth.
Kenny's
very matter of fact about it, and
absolutely.
He signed it, and the rest is history.
Oh, yes, absolutely it is.
Who owned that 36? Was that a Yates car?
I think it was.
I think it was, I think that was the second Yates car, I think, at that time. Because didn't Ernie Irvin drove it for a bit, I want to say, and then maybe Schrader, something like that?
Well, you're going to make me look now before we go to break real quick like. But I'm 98% sure. I was just
trying to think about that, but I think it was a Yates car. Because Kenny, of course, at that time he had driven for Hendrick and several others. And somewhere in that period he ended up in the 36 car and did a very good job with it.
Yeah, that was even after the Skull Bandit car. It was actually Nelson Bowers. Who owns that 36 car. Drove it from 2000 to 2002, Schrader did.
Yeah.
And that was during the period where after that he bounced over to the Morgenthau 49 car, which had some fun sponsors.
Josh Ray correcting me, reminding me the 38 M&M's car was
38 Elliott Sadler. Sadler's car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to tie this show into a bow and get on out of here. I can't believe it's already over. Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career. Checkered flag coming when we come back.
here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas and get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
We were talking about Schrader during our last segment, and Tom couldn't remember who Nelson Bowers was off the top of our heads. MB2 Motorsports.
Yes. Yep. MB2.
Yep. MB2 was the team that 36 car fell under, and it later became the 13, and then it later went away. And that was all after a merger with Gin Racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then merged with DEI.
DEI. Yep. Yeah. The convoluted paths that our team owners in NASCAR weave, and go back and read the history sometime. It's really a fun place. I do it a lot, and I get lost, and it's kind of fun. Then again, I get lost on my way home some days. So
yes, I know.
There's that too. Oh, gosh, it's already time to end the show. I'm sad. But I'm also happy in a way because, well, that means Atlanta is like 12 hours away. Woo! I'm excited about that. It's going to be a tremendous amount of fun that I'm very much looking forward to. We're all going to be down there. You are, and Chris is, and I am this weekend. And we're going to get to see 3 fun races, including a unique doubleheader on Saturday between the NASCAR Xfinity Series and the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. 450 miles of racing in one afternoon. Awesome. Looking forward to it. And the free quick trip. Can't forget about the free quick trip.
That's right.
So,
Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 on Sunday.
Thanks to mycomputercrew.edu. Thanks to HMS Motorsport. Thanks to strutmasters.com. For Tom Baker, Chris Murdoch, Randy Miller, I'm Jacob Seelman. Keep it off the wall, folks. And if you're headed to a racetrack, we might just see you there. Have a safe racing weekend till we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness with the Race Chaser Online crew. Stay tuned to Performance Motorsports Network for more race talk. For the latest motorsports news, visit racechaseronline.com. Motorsports Madness is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network, www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. A member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section in the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-hosts, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week when the madness returns on Monday night at 7 Eastern. Until then, keep it off the wall and keep the shiny side up.